welcome to vlog 50.
Number 50.
Yes. And also, this will be going out on all platforms right away, so this will be coming out on Facebook. Not in the order that our videos usually come out, because what we wanted to do in this episode was just answer some of your guys' questions. So we got a bunch here. Thank you to everybody who sent them through.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to make sure that what we're doing is relevant and that you guys can understand. And for those of you who might be new followers to the page, just so you can understand kind of what we're doing here. Why did we come? And some of those questions. So, we should get into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So, question number 1 comes from Native Scholar 2020 on Instagram. Why do you call yourself the Waka Family?
So when John and I started Waka Farms, we were talking about a name that we could use. And John and his dad are business partners, and his mom and I are very involved in business and have lots of input. So we were all kind of discussing names, and they were throwing all these Fijian names at me. And to be honest, most of the language or the words that they were using were so hard for me to say. And we were trying to find words that related back to history and family and kind of what we were doing. And finally they said, well, what about Waka? And I'm like, that's the one. It has to be Waka. Like, I can say Waka, Jonathan can say Waka, anyone I run into. It's a very easy word. It can be international. It's not going to be rocket science for anybody. So Waka Family comes from our brand Waka, and we're representing our brand as a family. We want to represent our company, and then we just want to share our lives so you guys can get to know us as Waka Family. Our last name is actually Batisari Sari, so it's not Waka, if that's an interesting fact for you guys, but it's all about our business and what we're doing in Fiji and what we want to bring to Fiji.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Next question comes from Joy's Mama 69. Hey guys, just regarding that 50th vlog, I just want to briefly know more about John's dad and the ties he has in Fiji, like if John is Fijian or how you guys are related here back in Fiji. Like, does John have a Fijian dad? So, you know, the things that sometimes you think you don't need to explain, they do need to be explained. So, for those of you who don't know, yes, my father is Fijian. He's Itauke Fijian from the village that we're living here in Maduata. So, yeah, we live in the house that was built by our family while we were overseas in Canada. And we live with my grandma, my father's mother, and his dad, or my grandfather, passed away earlier this year, and we also live with his sister and husband, so my aunt and uncle. So those are the ties that I have here in Fiji. I lived here off and on growing up as a kid, but my parents were actually missionaries overseas, so we moved back and forth, and my mom was a nurse, so my mom is from Canada, and she had to go back every few years to keep her nursing license active. So that's why I was bouncing back and forth. So even though I don't sound Fijian, I look half Fijian, I guess.
And he was born here.
Yeah, I was actually born in Sugar City in Lautoka, so 1992, yep. So hopefully that answers your question. Next question comes from Facebook, Kimberly O'Loughlin. So I also apologize ahead of time if I screw up anybody's name. Hi from Australia. My partner is from Malaki village in Savusavu, so far away from town. How far are you guys from town, and how often would you go into town? So I'll let Steph take this question, but technically there's 2 towns. One is a town close to us is Senganga, and then there's the city Lambasa, which is a little ways.
We don't actually go into Senganga as much as we could. It's only about 15 minutes away from us. And you can get most of your groceries there, but we end up doing a big shop in Lambasa at least once a week. Because we do have a big household, I end up going to the market a lot and getting groceries quite often. And John and I typically have lots of business in town, so I try to fit it in that way. But I did find, you know, when we first moved here, we didn't have a fridge at all. And so that was really difficult. Like if we had a vehicle at the time, I would have gone in a lot more often because you can't keep fruits and vegetables in the heat very long. So you either have to grow them or you have to be in town all the time. But now that we have a fridge, I can buy more in bulk and keep it in the fridge. So once a week seems to be good enough for now. And the bus system's really good into town if we don't have the truck to take. But in Senganga, we go there probably just as needed. If it's a quick, like we need bread or something easy. My son's school is kind of on the way, so it's pretty easy to jump into town and then come back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, the day we're recording this is November 25th, and the next question comes from Facebook, Litire Biumaiwai. So, Wulavinaka, how is the t-shirts and hoods going? Can't wait to order mine. So, we are working on everything. Actually, our online store should be up and running by, we're hoping end of next week. For sure in the next couple of weeks, our online store, which will be available worldwide. Yeah. But will probably, due to pricing and everything, be more, I think the Western market will probably be more inclined to that because of shipping costs getting to Fiji and everything like that. So, but that is available. It will be available in 2 weeks. Other than
and
that,
we'll post it for you guys, don't worry.
Yeah, you guys will know about it as soon as it comes, for sure. Other than that, we weren't able to find a good distributing partner, I guess, that could do things at a reasonable price, again because of shipping, not because of anything on their end or our end. It just didn't work for the pricing. So we are working on stuff here in Fiji to try and get something going locally. That being said, what are we running into as far as problems? Well, it's hard to get the stuff out there because not everybody has credit cards here in Fiji and does online shopping, which is how it would be done in Canada or the US or Australia or New Zealand. So we're trying to figure out how we're going to distribute stuff. So any ideas that you guys have, if any of you own a store and would want to like carry a rack or put our stuff in a corner or something, we'd be open to that too. So we're talking about options, even like doing like not road shows, but like coming through a city and setting up in a shop and partnering, like pulling customers into a shop and for people who want to buy our stuff, and also that would bring customers to the store. So we're thinking about ideas right now. And
John and I are trying to get some samples in just for t-shirts to start, so that's probably what we'll go with first, and then hopefully once kind of COVID settles down and the shipping is a little bit easier, then we can maybe bring in some more things that are not available in Fiji. So we are still working on it though, don't worry. I work on it at least every other day. It's raining. There we go.
Sorry, I had to close the louvers. Oh, by the way, we are recording in the church right now, so
a little echoey.
Yeah, a little echoey, but it was just there's so many people in the house every day, and it's just too crazy to try to do anything like this in there. So next question comes from Facebook, Ernest Nesto Jr. Tovoa. So sorry, it's hard to read here, but Bula, what type of business venture are you doing? So we're currently, this might actually answer a bunch of questions that are coming up, but just to give you guys kind of the full picture of what we're doing here, we came, like Stephanie said, to build our brand because we believe that there's so much opportunity here in Fiji. There's also a lot of people who are without jobs, and so we kind of saw an opportunity, at least in our small circle of family and friends, to create a brand that would, the mission of our brand is to create employment opportunities. So that being said, first we're starting with our farm, in which we are farming yangona, dalo, yam, and then we also have about 500 sandalwood trees that are planted now. A couple weeks ago I picked up another almost 2,000, and we're forecasted to plant about 40,000 or so on our land. That's sandalwood or yassi trees. So that is one aspect, but the problem is, and especially during these COVID times or these pandemic times, one thing that has taught us in having our business overseas in Canada is like there's never been a better example for a time where it's good to have multiple small businesses rather than one huge company. And so what we're trying to do is we're going to be the farmers, like I just explained to you, but we're also going to be the ones that help the farmers, because you don't want to just have all your stuff in the ground, because if something happens, then you, like a hurricane, you have nothing left. But so now we're starting Waka contract farming, which is going to help farmers and provide jobs for people in the area, to help farmers, with the planting and maintenance and anything and everything farming, with machinery and everything. So we don't just want to be on the farming end, we also want to be on the service providing end of farming. What else are we doing?
Well, right now we're selling some kava that's what we bought from a cousin, and we've pulled and dried it, so we're going to have it to market the next couple weeks here. And then we're just tossing around some other business ideas that are in the works. We're not going to share them with you quite yet, because
lots to be determined.
Yeah, we're not quite ready to roll it out, and we're just counting the numbers and seeing what the prices of everything are, and then we'll see if we'll go ahead with those few things. But yeah, that's kind of it for now, what we're working on. But you know what, you can't do too many things at once, otherwise nothing gets done well. So, and we want to make sure everything that we do it properly.
Yep. So yeah, that might answer a few questions, but I will shout your names out if your question got answered in that last answer. So next question comes from Luis Satamani on Facebook. Waka Family, are you enjoying village life? How long are you planning to stay for, and do you miss Canada? You want to go on?
Yeah, so yeah, we're definitely enjoying village life. We find it really quiet in the evenings. We get to spend lots of time together, especially with the kids, and it's a lot more laid back, so that's pretty nice. And family's always around. For me personally, I really enjoy having just the freedom to let our kids kind of go and play and have fun, and I don't have to be too nervous about them getting lost or not being watched, and that's pretty, I don't know, for me that's pretty great. So we quite like the village life. Obviously it's very different. Sorry, you put the phone down. What's the second question? Got on a roll, and then
how long are you planning to stay for?
So John and I have a goal of being in Fiji for 5 years straight, and then we'd like to be half and half, because we do still have part of our family in Canada and then part of it's here. Those people back in Canada really miss us, and our children, and we miss them. So we'd love to be back and forth. We were planning on being home this year for a couple months just to visit family, and then because of COVID, it just wasn't possible at all. Yeah, but I think, as time goes on, we'll tell, and this year has been a benefit for us to stay here. We've gotten a lot more done than we could have if we went home for a few months or back to Canada for a few months. And yeah, we do miss Canada. Well, I do personally in some ways. I think we miss our really close friends that we've grown relationships with them for years. That takes time to build here, and yeah, sometimes it's just, life is different here, and when you have a bad day, sometimes you wish that you were back. But then other days, I'm so thankful that we're not in Canada right now, because COVID is miserable there, and it's not something that I really want to experience. They're all locked down. In Fiji, we still have a lot of freedom, so.
Yep. Fiji's the place to be right now, so. The next question comes from Facebook, from Ulay Mbola Kivei. So he says, Bulo Vinaka Waka Family, for how long are you planning to stay in Fiji? What are your evaluations on successes of your business in Canada compared to your anticipation for the future in terms of your business ventures here in Fiji, Vinaka? So we already answered the question about how long we're planning to stay in Fiji. Evaluations on the successes of the business. Well, to be very honest with everybody, this year has been a nearly impossible year for most businesses overseas. We managed to stay afloat, and everything's fine. I think the icing on the cake is that we get to provide jobs overseas in our business in Canada, for people who are still paying their mortgages, their rent, buying food and living life. So even though we're not maybe taking as much of a cut as we usually do, we're still have a company that is keeping the lights on for some people. So that's an encouragement for us as far as comparatively speaking to Fiji. Well, we're making no money right now in Fiji because it's an investment time. You always have, the startup period, right, with any business.
And just so everybody knows, John and I actually planned to come to Fiji and not make money for the first 4 years. We were going to solely rely on our income from Canada, but with COVID, that's had to change.
Yeah, yeah. I would say that our business in Canada's potential is large. However, our focus now, I guess, is a lot in Fiji, being that we're here right now. So we have a great manager back in Canada who handles the business for us. But as far as the opportunity goes, like, one thing that people should understand is that in overseas market, like, lots of things have already been done. And so the cool thing about coming to Fiji is you get the opportunity to be first to do something that has probably been done and replicated and refined and done better than maybe you could ever do in Canada. It takes a lot of money to start up business in Canada, typically speaking. So that's the cool thing about Fiji, is that we have the opportunity to be first, and like right now, like our forecast for what we're doing, the business in Canada doesn't hold a candle to what the potential is for stuff here in Fiji. But we plan to grow all the businesses overseas and here. It's just, like I said, never been a better time to diversify outside of countries if you can. And so we have the cool opportunity, so we decided to capitalize on it, and now we're here. Hopefully that answers your question. Next question comes from Facebook, Callie Green. He asked some questions about strategy during the pandemic and what our business ventures are. We just kind of answered those questions. So thank you for your question.
Yeah.
Next question from Facebook, from Semi Takuna. He asks, your posts and videos bring a lot of happiness and good vibes to our hearts. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it. You are enjoying what most of us here in Fiji take for granted. I don't know if everybody, maybe people take it for granted, but we're just, I guess, experiencing it a lot for the first time, especially with a family. Yeah. So that's just been fun. So what you see on video or on our posts is just like a genuine reaction to things that we are probably experiencing for the first time. What will you be planting on your farm? You already explained that. Will you be allowing the public to invest in your business venture? We love what your family is doing. God bless you and your family and the Waka business venture. Thank you very much. At the moment, we aren't taking any investment from outside. It's definitely something that we've entertained, and it may very well be part of something that happens in the future, depending on what the next avenues of business are that we go into. So we'll keep you posted if there's any opportunity, but at the moment, it's just a bit simpler to do what we can ourselves. And once we kind of got our head wrapped around the way that taxation works here, the government works, the business structures, at that point, we could then start thinking about, in a productive way, about outside investment. Yeah, so
definitely.
Great question.
And also, a side note, if you see another page inviting you about money or investment or those kind of things, John and I will never approach things in that way. We won't private message you about something. We actually can't start from our business page a conversation with you first, and we want everything to be above board, and we don't want you sending us money with no receipt, no indication of what you'll get, product you'll get. We want to make sure that everything that we do is honest and that you're getting what we've promised you if we are. So do be careful with those kind of things and people that are out there to do shady things. We want to make sure that you know that we won't do that with you.
Mm-hmm. Next question comes from Facebook, and you know what, we've already kind of answered this question, but it comes from Tengu Logan. So thanks for sharing the Waka family adventures. Most families wish to work abroad because of the lifestyle money, financial support for family, etc. What motivates the Waka family to come here, and especially in the village? Well, we've kind of talked about all the motivations that we have for being here at the moment. Why the village? Well, because it's the place that is dear to our hearts. We saw that there's a lot of, it's family. The age, probably the average or median age was very high in our village, and lots of the young people are moving to the city for good reason, and like they should if they want to pursue their dreams. But we wanted to bring the average age down a bit and provide jobs for people here, because there is so much opportunity in the land that surrounds us. Yeah. And so we came back because of family, because of opportunity, and a combination of them both equally. So.
Yeah, and if you want villages to thrive, you need young people here to take care of the old people, and they need opportunity to work and create a lives for themselves and their future families. And I think we're doing a good job of that so far. That's our goal, is to make sure that we make that more widely available. The more work we can provide for people in our area, we think that that will be a more successful thing. If they want to stay in the village, then they can. They don't actually have to go if they don't want to. And if they want to, go, right? That's a great thing. It's just, if they want to stay, they should be able to financially support their families here.
Yeah. Next question comes from Facebook, Jacinta Luciana. I hope I'm saying that right. Bula from the Sugar City. Ooh, that's where I was born. Hello, hello. Fiji. Love your videos, especially how your children are adjusting to the Fijian lifestyle. What is the name of your village? Have your children picked up on any Fijian language, perhaps the dialect of the village? So the name of our village, we don't really release just to keep some privacy around here, but I'm sure if you dig hard enough, you can find it. It's out there, for sure. Have your children picked up any of the Fijian dialect? Definitely. Seva a bit more, because he's in the process of actually developing his speech. So he's, everything that people talk to him here is in our dialect here from Vanuatu, from Madawata. So he picks up on a lot of that. Liki's doing really good too, because he's in a kindergarten in a village next to us here in which they primarily speak Fijian. But his English was already there when we came to Fiji, so he's definitely, leaning more towards English. But kids are so flexible. I used to be fluent in Portuguese and Fijian when I was a kid, and then you lose it and you can pick it up again. But we're not too stressed about it. So good.
They're doing really good.
Yeah.
And they love speaking in Fijian, so it's nice to hear. Except that if they mouth me off, I don't know what they're saying as they get older.
That's true.
I'm gonna have to listen to the tone, not the words.
She needs to pick up a bit more.
Yeah, my tongue Fijian does not come out properly, so.
For me, I can understand most of it. I do get lost in this setting in the church, like on Sundays, and like more intricate conversations with bigger words and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll keep figuring it out. I'm not gonna stress about it, because I don't want to take away my mindset from things that are also important, like family and business matters and stuff like that. And the more that I'm immersed in it, the more that the more that we're both immersed in it, the more we'll learn. So we're not stressing about it too hard. Next question, Facebook, Junior Kondaya. What are some of the difficulties you're facing here in Fiji in terms of trying to get your business up and going? I would say probably just familiarizing ourselves with government processes in general. I think anywhere you go in the world, government departments are difficult to deal with, because, and they shouldn't be, because they operate off of taxpayer dollars, but you just don't know what happens, and there's not a lot of clarity as to what's going on with your paperwork or what you have to do next, where you have to go, because you'll go to one place, they say no, you have to go to that place, and then that place will say no, you got to go to this place. So that's been probably the most difficult part. Everything else, like, we're willing to have an idea and just make a run for it and figure things out on the fly, because you got to start making mistakes as soon as you can to figure out what you need to do better or next time. So yeah. Next question comes from Facebook, Lela Rambuli. Could you do a short video of a family conversation in Fijian? I can record a family conversation around our table in Fijian. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I won't participate very much.
No, like, obviously it wouldn't be.
Okay, let's do this. Wait. I say Vinaka Nakana Kere Kere Vakavengo.
There you go.
That's like my best sentence.
Yeah. Practicing it 3 times a day. Practicing it 3 times a day.
Or if you say in the dialect, Vinaha Nahana Here Here Vahaveo, something like that.
Not bad. Not bad.
Try. The H is harder than the K, so.
She's mastering all dialects.
Yeah, multilingual over here.
All right, day 2. We ended up getting busy yesterday, and yeah, we had to make a run for it. So we're back at it now, about 24 hours later. to finish answering your guys' questions, because this will be coming out tomorrow. I'm going to be editing this and putting it out. So we'll get right back into it again. What is the next question here? From G Mavoa, so that would be off Instagram. What is your favorite Fijian food?
Shoot, I forget the name of it. Well, I really like the young pumpkin leaves and coconut milk. You know, what's the seaweed you like? The
Lumi.
Lumi, yeah, like lumi.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me it's probably just like boiled fish in miti with like onions and dania and tomatoes and stuff. That would probably have to be my favorite. On the pumpkin leaves thing though, lots of people overseas don't know that you can eat pumpkin leaves, or that they're edible. People grow pumpkins all over the place.
Not pumpkin leaves, but the young ones.
The shoots, yeah. So, Stephanie learned something new.
Yeah.
From VT Doll, are the children enjoying the rustic lifestyle? 100% yes, they are enjoying the rustic lifestyle. I think the village life is great for kids, and I don't know, there's really not many downsides to it if you're a kid, especially where we live. It's not really close to a highway, like a lot of villages are right on the edge of a road, or or really hard to get to, like in the interior or on one of the outer islands. So we consider ourselves pretty lucky to be living here, where we're just not too far from town and everything, and it's pretty convenient, and the kids get to go swimming and do whatever they want and have fun.
Yeah,
so
and it's really safe. So
next question, Instagram, bma.358. Do you prefer Canada's snowy weather or Fiji's hot weather?
I don't know. I think if I had aircon, I'd be like Fiji all the way. But the fact that sometimes you just can't cool down, I'm gonna have to go with Canada, just only because I'm used to that climate and I can put lots of sweaters on and feel perfect. We're here, I can't stay in the river all day. Like, I have to do other things. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For myself, I would say it's probably 50-50, because there's beautiful things about winter in Canada, and there is beautiful things about not having to freeze your butt off in Fiji. So what we're aiming for, like we said, is after 5 to 7 years to be able to do like half and half kind of a thing, 6 months there, 6 months here. So hopefully we can get to the point where we're able to time the seasons well and do it that way. And I don't think that's out of reach for anybody watching this video. I think we are all presented with opportunities, and I think you just gotta jump out of your comfort zone and do something. And I think anybody can get to the point where they spend a certain amount of their time overseas and a certain amount of their time in Fiji. Yeah. Next one comes from Instagram, Jared_Sutherland. Do you plan on building your own home away from the village, or will you stay in the village? Do you want me to take this one?
Sure.
So, if we're gonna build a home here, the first home that we build will be in the village, 100% for sure. The way, for those of you who don't know, that villages are set up here in Fiji typically is like each family member, or each family kind of has their portion of the village, or their area in the village in which they can build. And so we have like a little plot in which is the place that we could build our little village house. So we're not at the point where we can afford to buy land and build elsewhere, and so we're fortunate enough to be able to think even and consider doing something here. But again, we have to save up some money so that we can build our home here. Eventually we'd like to get to the point where we could maybe get into the tourism industry and have like houses closer to the coast and stuff like that, but in time,
yeah.
Because one of the nicest things about Fiji that everybody thinks about is the beach, and so it would be nice to have that as an option, I guess. But at the moment, village house is going to be where we're building.
Maybe a village house with AC if we really get lucky. Except the whole village will be in our house all day.
That's true. You have to have a pretty mean solar system set up to be able to get AC.
Yeah.
So,
good luck.
But miracles have been done. Miracles have been done in the past. The next question comes from Facebook, and this is actually the last question. And it was a long one. We answered a couple of her questions. This comes from Ima Dinandi Dabeta. So
that's pretty impressive.
her second question that we're going to be answering is, anything is possible in life if one is determined and willingly focused on his plan to be able to achieve his or her dreams. Looking at the standard of living of anyone who comes from the village in Fiji, what are some of the tips and motivation you guys can give to those wanting to achieve greater goals and success in life?
Okay, me. I'll give my advice, you give your advice, and then
Sure.
we'll go from there. For me, I think probably two things. People in the village especially need to plan for long term. So not just day-to-day living, needs to look at like the next year, the next 5 years, the next generation, right? Like long-term planning. So when we're planting to make enough money, and it consistently, the revenue has to, you know, keep coming. So we're planting year after year after year, so the return keeps coming year after year. The other thing that everybody needs to look at within Fiji is what they sell and margin and the products that they sell. So looking at, like, let's say roti parcels. Well, how much does the flour and oil cost you? How much does the filling, if you're using tin tuna, cost you? How much do the potatoes cost you? How much even does your curry spice cost you? You know, and when you're making it all together, are you selling it with a profit? Or are you just making enough to rebuy your supplies? So taking a look at the margin, you know, where the rest of that money goes, and if you're left over with anything in your products. So, yeah.
Just reviewing the question here. So, number one, I think it just takes seeing an opportunity and not just seeing it as far as, you know, success. Also, I guess I'll start with this. I don't consider myself to be successful yet. I just have dreams. We have dreams that we're just pursuing because we have seen an opportunity and we decided to go after it. So just because it hasn't been done, I think this is probably at the moment on the top of my head is the biggest thing. Just because it hasn't been done doesn't mean it can't be done. And for me, the way I look at it is if I have an idea and it hasn't been done, that is actually more motivation for me to do that thing. Yeah. So important for you guys to understand that a lot of people in Fiji just think like, oh, because it hasn't been done, it can't be done. No, it hasn't been done because nobody's been determined enough to do it and jump over the hurdles and go through the struggles of actually making it happen. So if it hasn't been done...
In saying that, if it hasn't been done, you do need to do your research. You need to poke holes in your idea, as we say. Make sure it's a solid idea that will make you income, like we talked about, margin, and then go for it.
This is strictly business. I don't consider like business success to be life success. No. You can have a very successful business and have a tragic life. So there needs to be a balance for us. We balance that with our relationship with Jesus and, you know, and life with people. And so wherever you land on that, I think measuring and balancing out your spiritual life and emotional life, your family life, your business life is probably of utmost importance, I would say. So success is measured in different ways, and we're constantly pushing ourselves to, you know, do new things and poke holes in our ideas and stuff like that. So thank you guys for the questions. Thank you very, very much. I hope that kind of answers some stuff. I know it's probably a bit long-winded, but for those of you who made it to this point in the video, thank you very much. Congratulations. And we really appreciate your guys' support. Actually, update to one of the answers that we had for you yesterday. Our online store went live today. So this is, we are on Thursday, November 26th. Yeah. So it went live today. That will be available worldwide. Shipping not included in the price, but when you go into the store, you add everything into your cart. It'll spit you out a quote for shipping at the end. So,
and I'll have that link posted up on Facebook and our social media tomorrow on Instagram and things, and then you guys can take a look. But if it's not something that you can do, we are also going to be bringing those t-shirts, just as a reminder, to Fiji. It's just going to take us a little bit more time. But we do have the online store for now. That's a good start. We haven't been doing nothing, we promise.
For those in Fiji, your store will be announced in hopefully a date soon to come here.
And in Fiji, you can order the online stuff. It's just a little more expensive and harder. Like the shipping is longer. So we're trying to make it more convenient for you because we are actually physically here.
Yeah. So thank you guys for your support. We appreciate each and every one of you that's following along with our story and our crazy adventure as a family. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, love you guys.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Peace.
Press like, subscribe.